Today, the Federal Reserve will announce where it's headed on interest rates, a decision that will be announced at 1 o'clock New Orleans time. The speculation is we're in for a pause in the rate hikes, and we'll get more on where we are with Ernie Burns from Burns Wealth Advisors. Good morning to you.
Morning.
So the thought is that the Fed will say, okay, interest rates remain the same, at least for now?
Yes. He's going to pause rates today, but his words after the fact, if he's going to be hawkish and on future interest rates, is going to move the markets.
That's kind of where the suspense is.
Yes.
And you'll see that it's almost like watching a football game or something. You start listening to him, and then you go online and look at the markets, and they sometimes react in the middle of the news conference.
It does. It definitely does, and it's going to basically tell. He has a unique factor here. He has to balance a teeter-totter, a seesaw effect, whereas he doesn't want to repeat what Volcker did in the late.
Paul Volcker.
Yeah, back in the late 70s and early 80s, because he aggressively raised interest rates up because they were in a major recession. Then he basically tried to lower interest rates to get them out of the recession. He doesn't want to do that. So he's going to pause rates for a while.
And I think that's a great point. We forget sometimes, but Paul Volcker's problem was that he was on the one hand battling just inflation that makes this look like the good old days.
Yeah.
On the one hand, and then unemployment eventually spiked to 10%. While people were paying 18% more for their gasoline than they had the year before. I mean, that was a mess. We don't want to go down that path.
We don't want to go down that path, and that's what Powell's looking at now. He doesn't want inflation to start increasing again. So he'll probably have one more rate increase by the end of the year, and then hopefully pause after that. But I don't think we're going to have any rate reductions or any decreases for probably close to 6 months or more.
All right, let's shift gears here and talk a little bit about the government shutdown. Your thoughts on where we might be headed?
Congress is having issues even passing anything right now. They just didn't pass a defense project that they should have passed, so they can't agree on anything right now. I think there will be a government shutdown, and if that happens, you won't see a whole lot happening in the economy unless you're a government worker, but it will probably be short, as they've done in the past.
And it's almost a government shutdown in quotation marks, because there is the last time they did it, people still got their Social Security checks. There are concerns about, veterans benefits and all those sorts of things. The whole government, they find a way, doesn't shut down in a true sense.
No, and in the same instance, well, yes and no, but the big thing is this posturing on not Wall Street, on the government, with the Republicans and Democrats basically chesting up to see who's going to win this, but it usually lasts a week or two max.
Some people might say that, well, the Fed's got too much power. This appointed body that isn't elected, for example. But is there a power vacuum here? You have a dysfunctional Washington where they can't govern and they can't pass a bill, versus, on the other hand, the Fed, which is left in a power vacuum and has to do something?
The problem is the government, Congress can't stop spending money. So the Feds are having issues with trying to slow inflation down, but the government keeps spending more money. They have a blank checkbook. So it's kind of halfway one way and six one way to half a dozen the other. It's aggravating.
It's not the way the economics.
You and I can't do that without checkbooks.
No, we can't.
When a zero balance comes, that's it.
All right. Ernie Burns, thanks as always.
Hey, thank you.
8:50, let's go to Zach.